Okay, let's dive in. So imagine looking up, and there's this tiny, tiny spark of light. It's about 41 kilometers away from the ISS.
Yeah, just a little pinpoint.
That was the Soyuz MS-26. And inside, NASA's Don Pettit and the Roscosmos cosmonauts, Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Wagner.
Right, heading home after, what was it, 220 days up there?
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're looking at the NASA live feed you sent over. The goal is to really unpack how they get these astronauts back safely. It seems incredibly complex.
Oh, it is. And think about the journey before the return. 220 days. That's something like 3,520 orbits.
Wow.
Yeah, adds up to, well, over 93 million miles traveled. Getting back isn't just, turning around. It's this whole choreographed sequence. Everything has to be perfect.
Absolutely. And the timing for this one was kind of neat, actually. Touchdown was scheduled for April 20th, which was Easter Sunday. And get this, it was also Don Pettit's 70th birthday.
No way.
Yeah.
Talk about a birthday present, returning to Earth.
Right, so the whole return sequence really kicked off about 26 and a half minutes before they even started the main descent with the deorbit burn.
Ah, yes, the deorbit burn. Crucial step. It lasted 4 minutes and 41 seconds.
Okay.
And the whole point is to slow the Soyuz down, specifically by 128 meters per second. It's a retrograde burn.
Meaning firing the engine backwards, essentially, against the direction of travel.
Exactly, like hitting the brakes in space. We actually heard Ovchinin on the comms loop calling out the delta velocity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, confirming they were hitting that target speed change, making sure they were on the right path down.
Okay, so burn complete. Then things get, well, really interesting. About 23 minutes later, the Soyuz starts intentionally coming apart.
Right, planned separation. It's not a failure. It's part of the design. First step is depressurizing the orbital module.
Why do they do that?
It's essential before the pyrocnic separation happens.
Pyrocnic. Sounds dramatic.
It kind of does, but it just means using small, precisely timed explosive bolts. It's actually a very reliable way to make sure the modules separate cleanly in space. No snags.
Okay, makes sense.
So they jettison the orbital module, don't need that for re-entry, and then the service module, the one with the main engine and solar panels.
Leaving just the descent module where the crew is strapped in.
Exactly. And this all happens way up high, about 260 miles over, I think it was southern Mongolia.
Wow. Must be quite a view.
Ah.
And maybe a bit nerve-wracking. Then comes the big one, atmospheric entry.
Yeah, hitting the top of the atmosphere at around 326,800 feet. And after 220 days floating...
Gravity, suddenly it's back.
Has to be a shock to the system. And then things heat up. Literally. The Soyuz enters the plasma regime.
The fireball phase we see in videos.
That's the one. The heat shield is dealing with temperatures around 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, just deflecting all that intense heat from atmospheric friction.
That shield technology must be incredible.
Absolutely. It's based on ablative materials they burn away in a controlled manner, carrying the heat with them. A huge leap from early spaceflight challenges.
And this heat causes the communication blackout, right?
Yep. Expected for about 5 minutes or so. The superheated air, the plasma, just blocks radio signal.
Must be a tense 5 minutes for everyone on the ground.
And for the crew, too, I imagine. Plus, they're pulling Gs again.
Right. The G-forces. How high do they get?
They peak around 21 miles up. Max load is usually between 4 and 5 Gs.
4 or 5 times Earth's gravity. After months of weightlessness.
Ouch. Yeah, it puts a real strain on the cardiovascular system, muscles, everything that's adapted to space. That's why the recovery and rehab afterwards is so important.
Okay, so past the peak Gs, next up is parachute time.
Correct. And it's not just one big chute, it's a sequence.
Right, multi-stage.
First, 2 small pilot chutes deploy. The second pilot chute pulls out the drogue chute.
Okay, the drogue. What does that do?
It's about 24 square meters, does the initial heavy braking, slows them from maybe 230 meters per second down to about 80.
Let's go pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Then comes the main event.
The big orange and white one.
The main parachute. Huge, 1,000 square meters. That slows them right down to just over 7 meters per second for landing.
Gentle enough, hopefully.
That's the idea. And there's that interesting detail about the descent angle, too.
Oh, yeah.
The Soyuz actually comes down at a 30-degree angle initially. They call it a caned angle.
Why angled?
Helps dissipate the reentry heat more effectively before it shifts to a straight vertical drop for the final part. Kind of like skipping a stone, helps spread the thermal load.
Huh. Clever. Okay, so fire, G-forces, parachutes. Finally, landing.
Almost. Right before touchdown, there's one last bit of tech.
The soft landing engines.
Exactly. Little rockets fire upwards, just like a meter or so off the ground, cushions the final impact.
And touchdown, where did they actually land?
Middle of Kazakhstan, pretty much. About 91 miles southeast of Kazban. We even got the coordinates. 47 degrees, 19 north, 69 degrees, 34 east.
Precise. And this was just after sunrise.
Yeah, 56 minutes after sunrise on that Easter morning.
And the weather looked okay.
Sounded decent. About 44 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. Standard for the area, I suppose.
Now, the recovery teams. This isn't just one Jeep waiting, is it?
Oh, no. It's a significant operation. Russian Mi-8 helicopters are the workhorses.
Right.
A couple are staged further away, near Baikonur, just in case of a ballistic reentry that's a steeper, less controlled descent that lands further downrange.
A contingency plan.
Always. The main force, 6 other Mi-8s, including ones with NASA folks, are positioned much closer to the target zone.
And there was a plane involved, too.
Yep, an Antonov 26. Flies overhead during descent, acts as a crucial communication relay, especially during that blackout period.
Got it. And the landing itself. It wasn't perfectly upright.
No, we heard confirmation it landed on its side, probably due to some wind at ground level. Pretty common, actually.
But the procedures are designed for that.
Absolutely. The teams know exactly what to do. First priority is always safety. They check for any hazardous propellant leaks or gases around the capsule.
Before they even open the hatch.
Exactly. Then, carefully, they extract the crew, and the first thing they do is put them in those reclining chairs right beside the Soyuz.
To start readjusting to gravity.
Yeah. That initial feeling can be really disorienting, even make them feel heavy or dizzy. So they take it slow.
Then what? Straight to a hospital.
Not immediately. First, they go to a nearby inflatable medical tent, set up right there on the step.
Okay.
Gives them a private space to get out of those bulky Sokol pressure suits and into regular flight clothes. Get initial medical checks.
Then the helicopter ride.
Yep, separate helicopters take them to the staging city, which was Karaganda this time.
And from Karaganda, they split up.
That's right. Don Pettit would board a NASA jet for the long flight back to Houston.
And Ovchinin and Wagner.
They'd take a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft back to Star City near Moscow. It's all very well planned logistically.
It sounds like it. And this landing marked some pretty big milestones for these astronauts, didn't it?
Huge milestones. Don Pettit, landing on his 70th birthday, wrapped up his 4th flight. His total time in space is now 590 days.
Incredible. Almost 2 years cumulatively.
And Alexei Ovchinin, also on his 4th flight, he's now got 595 days.
Wow, even more.
And Ivan Wagner, this was his 2nd flight, bringing his total to 416 days.
These are serious numbers. Really speaks to their experience and the demands of long-duration flight.
Absolutely. And we heard them saying goodbye to the Expedition 73 crew still up there. Takuya Onishi took over command of the ISS.
The handover. Life on the station just keeps going.
Always. It's a continuous human presence.
So, wrapping this up, the whole Soyuz MS-26 return, It's testament to precision engineering, isn't it? From that tiny burn way up high down to the touchdown.
Every single step, the braking, the module separations, surviving the heat, the parachutes deploying exactly on cue, those final landing rockets, it all has to work flawlessly.
Yeah, the timing is just mind-boggling.
And we shouldn't forget the human side. Coming back to gravity after, 220 days is a huge physical challenge.
Sure.
And seeing the recovery teams work so quickly and professionally on the ground, it really highlights the commitment to getting them back safe and sound.
Yeah, it's quite something. And even as they were landing, work carries on aboard the ISS. You mentioned there's a SpaceX cargo mission coming up?
CRS-32, yeah. And a spacewalk plan with Anne McClain and Nicole Mann. Always something happening.
Definitely material for future deep dives there.
For sure. It really makes you pause and think. Consider the incredible level of coordination and sheer brain power needed to do this, bring people back from orbit routinely and safely. With all the progress we're seeing, what's next? What other innovations might make this amazing process even smoother? Maybe even, more commonplace someday.